Hey there everyone, AJ back again for the Mighty Gluestick channel. I make videos about Dungeons & Dragons lore full-time thanks to your generous support, shares and views, with multiple uploads every week to share the rich history of monsters, locations and mythologies of D&D. Magic items of legend, an often requested topic for me to cover and a subject of endless debate and innovation over the many decades of the game. Let's talk about the Deck of Many Things, arguably one of the most famous legendary artifacts of Dungeons & Dragons, for good reason. It has been around since the very first D&D supplement, Greyhawk, published in 1975. It is based on the face cards from an ordinary playing card deck. So there are 18 cards in the original deck, equivalent to the ace, king, queen and jack of each of the 4 suits, plus the 2 jokers, which allowed anyone at home to make their own deck out of a pack of playing cards. A great idea, as it still works just fine. Playing cards are as commonplace as 6-sided dice. In the Dungeons & Dragons Dungeon Master's Guide, published in 1979, the Deck of Many Things can be reduced down to 13 cards or increased to 22 cards by either getting rid of 1 joker and the aces, or by including the aces and the 2s of each suit plus the jokers. In Dragon Magazine number 77, published in September 1983, an entire 78-card tarot deck was examined, and the cards explained, and a D&D effect assigned to each one. This is a pretty amazing body of work by author Michael J. Lowry. To give you a random example, let's take the 6 of Wands. A laurel-crowned rider bears a wand adorned with a laurel wreath, and is accompanied by 5 staff-bearing figures on foot, upright. It signifies victory, triumph, good tidings, the successful completion of a struggle. The drawer of the card will be doubly effective, double damage for weapon wielders in its attacks against his next foe. Magic users and illusionists, spells of which will be 3 times normal duration, and saving throws against such spells will be at -3. Reversed, it signifies indefinite delay, disloyalty, a success of an enemy, fear. The drawer will learn upon returning from this adventure or expedition that their most hated and feared opponent have a great success and is said to be intent upon attacking them soon. The opponent can be anyone from a professional rival to an entire tribe of orcs, anyone the drawer has defeated, attacked, injured, or merely outshone. Even a first level character will have a rival fellow apprentice, a traditional family or clan enemy, or something of the sort. And it's like that for all of the cards in the deck, with varying effects for each one, based on the effect on each card, or the meaning of each card. The major arcana being a bit more potent. For example, the Chariot, one of the cards, a youthful and triumphant figure, a conqueror rather than a hereditary ruler, stands in a chariot, covered over by a starry canopy and drawn by 2 steeds, horses or sphinxes, of opposing colours and pulling somewhat different directions. The charioteer bears a scepter of dominion, but no reins. The chariot must be controlled through dominion of the mind. Here is represented the conqueror of the outer world, the victorious, yet not truly in control of the fullness of reality. Upright, the chariot signifies triumph, success, conquest over the physical plane, including one's illnesses and one's own weaknesses, by the rational mind, intelligence rather than wisdom, also travel and comfort, state visits. The drawer of this card, upright, is cured of all diseases, of lycanthropy, of deafness, blindness, curses and charms, etc., of which they're the victim, and will be 15% less susceptible to them thereafter, forever. Also, the drawer will be able to coax an extra 3 squares of movement out of any vehicle, mount, or other mode of travel, as long as their mind is clear and free to concentrate on doing so. So quite powerful. Reversed, it signifies decadence, ill health, restlessness, victory through foul means, disputes, failure. Drawer will, over the next 7 days, begin to manifest a severe and chronic disease, which can only be cured by a potion made from the brains of 2 different kinds of sphinxes. The disease will not prove fatal for at least 49 days. The brains of 2 different kinds of sphinx, that's not an easy task, and after 49 days, they die. I think one of the things that really stands out about the Deck of Many Things is that it is a relic of how D&D was commonly played back in the early days. Powerful items of chance could really mess up your character. Things were not balanced. A risky action could result in your character being crippled, driven insane, or taken away from where the gameplay was happening, or simply killed. Why did players even take the chance? Well, because the rewards were also potentially amazing. It was not easy to increase a character's attributes, or the getting of wealth, the prestige, the fame, or the magical power could take a long time. And again, there was a very good chance that your character was going to get murdered somewhere along the way. So the original details of the Deck of Many Things from the Greyhawk supplement goes like this. This deck is a device. It's a pack of 18 parchment cards, 4 of each of the 4 kinds, so the suits and 2 jokers. Each of the 4 of each is a different kind is different. So one half being beneficial things and the other half causing hurtful things. The person possessing such a deck may select cards from it 4 times or more if jokers are drawn. We'll talk about that in a minute. And whatever is revealed by the card selected takes place. So the cards are the Ace of Hearts. You immediately gain 50,000 experience points. The King of Hearts, gain a miscellaneous magical item from a table of your choice. The Queen of Hearts, gain 1 to 3 wishes to be taken when you like. The Jack of Hearts, help from a superhero with +3 armor, shield, and sword for 1 hour when you call for them. The Ace of Diamonds, immediately gain a map to the richest treasure of any dungeon level. The King of Diamonds gains 5 to 30 pieces of jewelry immediately. The Queen of Diamonds gained a scroll of 7 spells, no first level spells on it. Jack of Diamonds, add 1 point to any ability score you wish, etc. So strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, any of those. The Ace of Spades, lose 1 experience level immediately. King of Spades, Lord with +4 armor, shield, and sword, attacks you. The Queen of Spades, immediate death, no saving throw. The Jack of Spades, monster of 5th level underworld monster table, attacks by surprise. The Ace of Clubs, change alignment immediately. King of Clubs, lose your most prized magic item immediately. Queen of Clubs, turn to stone, no saving throw. Jack of Clubs, lose 1 point from your prime requisite. So this would be the attribute which is most useful for your particular character class. And the Joker, gain 25,000 experience points immediately, or select 2 additional cards. Each card drawn is returned to the pack and it is shuffled again before another draw is made. All 4 draws need not be made, but the moment the possessor of this deck states he has an intention of ever drawing further cards, or after the maximum number of cards in any event, it disappears. Note, the referee may make up his own deck using the guidelines above. As mentioned in Dragon Magazine number 77, they introduced the idea of the tarot card deck, and in Dragon Magazine 148 is more of a story about a couple of characters and a depiction of the deck and the knowledge of it in the game world itself. But the footnotes are fascinating and provide so much more information about the decks. So you may have already seen that there is a snippet of information which is kind of missing from 5th edition, so we'll talk about that. So this is what is known, and if I can quote the article by Robin Jenkins titled Luck of the Draw. It is believed by some of the most powerful deck of many things that most of the powerful decks of many things, the 22 card Ivory deck, has a special magical allure. So these are 22 cards which are made out of ivory. A character looking for the first time at this deck of this nature must make a wisdom check on a 1d20 or be entranced by the deck for 1 to 4 rounds, so captivated by it. In addition, a character so affected is more likely to draw from the deck. DMs should use discretion. It's never advisable to force a character to do something his player character would not have him do. His player would not have him do. The Deck of Many Things is known to many races by many names. For example, the Leprechauns, the distributors of many decks, refer to it as the Deck of Fools. The Dwarves, who generally avoid such random magics in spite of Vergadane's involvement, refer to it as the Deck of Curses. To many lawful religious orders it is known as the Deck of Chaos, a misnomer, since the deck is a product of true neutrality. How so? Nevertheless, clerics, paladins, and other devotees of these religious orders avoid these items unless lured by the deck, so they've locked eyes on it and become fascinated by it. But not all of the names of the Deck of Many Things are disparaging. Gnomes, who are noted for their love of gambling, refer to it as the Deck of Fate or the Deck of Luck. So this is interesting. 5th edition has caused some debate about if the deck persists. So after multiple draws can be made from it, this may help sort this out. So continuing with the footnotes from Dragon 148. If an attempt is made to pull cards without first announcing the number, the cards turn up blank and powerless. So you can draw cards from it, but unless you've announced how many cards you're going to take, it will have no effect. The cards will just be blank cards. Once the number of cards to be drawn is announced, so you say you said 4, other characters may pull from the deck in place of the initial character, thereby assuming the number of pulls initially announced. So the example is, if I announce I'm going to take 4 cards from the deck, I then take a card. That card has immediate effect on me. I then pass over the deck to my friend standing next to me. They take a card. That card has an immediate effect on them. They pass it to another person. They take the final 2 cards. And those cards have immediate effect. At which point, the cards and the deck disappear. Once the number of cards drawn is to be announced, other characters may pull from the deck in place of the initial character, thereby assuming the number of pulls initially announced. Any character who announces his intention to pull a new number of cards from a deck erases any previous number announced, so long as the previous number of draws was not completed. This makes it possible for one deck to pass through many hands, as stated in page 167 of the AD&D 2nd edition Dungeon Master's Guide. The deck disappears once a number of pulls equal to the currently announced number is reached. So this gets complicated. So let's say I've announced that I'm going to take 3 cards. I take 2 cards and pass the deck to the next person. The next person then says, I'm going to take 4 cards. They then take 3 cards, pass the deck to another person who announces that they're going to take 4 cards, and on it goes. So the deck may be passed around almost indefinitely amongst a certain number of people, as long as you haven't completed drawing that set amount of cards before somebody else announces that they're going to take some more cards. So they must announce while the deck is still in play, so to speak. As they're drawing those cards, those cards are immediately going back and getting shuffled back into the deck. So it is quite possible to draw the same card 3 times in a row. If you draw a joker from the deck, then it's possible to draw even more cards, 2 more cards. So it has rules. But the deck does itself disappear and go off to where it was created if you complete the number of draws that you have stated. So it does actually have rules, as stated in the Dungeon Master's Guide. Note that that elective and mandatory draws, as the Jester, Fool, or Idiot cards, may not be transferred to other characters. So if you draw a card which forces you to draw other cards, you can't pass off the deck to other people so that they get those mandatory draws. Those are effect. So when you draw the card and it has an effect on you, the drawer of that card, immediately. And any attempt by another character to draw during this elective or mandatory period turns up a blank, powerless card. So if they haven't announced a card, then they can't draw a card. The deck remains in this state until the previous card holder has his mandatory draws or relinquishes his right to his elective draws. When a deck disappears, it goes back to the god who made it, who then places the deck into circulation again by distributing it to an appropriate agent, be it a leprechaun, a thief, a gambler, a monster, something. If a balance card is drawn, the deck does not disappear, although the deck must be forfeited, either given to another character, sold, or left behind. Until the deck is given up, any card drawn from the deck is blank and powerless. So these decks are made by the true neutral gods of luck. Though it does state that gods of luck need not be of neutral alignment, of course. And it answers the question of whether or not the decks remain or vanish. They do, in fact, vanish after the sequence of cards are drawn and the deck returns to its creator, where it is then sent out into the multiverse again, via some agent of that creator, who is most likely to be one of the gods of luck. From a Planescape perspective, I can't help but think about the Rilmani, a silvery-skinned race of beings who dwell in the Outlands, within the impossibly tall mountain spire in the exact centre of that plane, and some would argue the exact centre of the multiverse, over top of which floats the city of Sigil. The Rilmani are to neutrality what the Modrons are to law and the Slardi are to chaos. I can imagine that the Rilmani might closely monitor the movement and effects of these magical artifacts, perhaps even stepping in where required to restore some cosmic balance. The cards in the standard deck from the 3rd edition Dungeon Master's Guide include Balance, which is the 2 of Spades, which changes the character to a radically different alignment. The Comet, the 2 of Diamonds. If a character single-handedly prevails in the next hostile encounter, the character attains the next level of experience. The Donjon, the Ace of Spades. The character is imprisoned and loses all gear and spells which are stripped from the victim in any case. The Euridale, which is the Queen of Spades, causes a permanent penalty on all saving throws, so not instant death anymore. The Fates, which is the Ace of Hearts, changes reality to allow the character to avoid even an instantaneous occurrence, if so desired. The Flames, or the Queen of Clubs, causes enmity between the character and an outsider. This is normally a devil or a demon. Fool, the Joker, or the Black Joker, the character loses experience points and is forced to draw another card from the deck. The Gem, which is the 2 of Hearts, the character gains significant wealth, and this is quite significant wealth. The Idiot, which is the 2 of Clubs, the character's intelligence score is permanently lowered. The Jester, which is the Red Joker, the character gains experience points or draw 2 more cards from the deck are drawn immediately. The Key, which is the Queen of Hearts, is a major magical weapon, appears out of nowhere in the character's hand. The Knight, or the Jack of Hearts, a fighter, appears out of nowhere and serves the character loyally until death. The Moon, which is the Queen of Diamonds, the character gains a number of magical wishes which come true. The Rogue, Jack of Spades, this card causes the character's NPC friends to turn against him. And in earlier editions of the game, it was much more common to have retainers, henchmen, people who carried around your stuff, people who looked after your horse when you went around, those sort of people. Ruin, which is the King of Spades, the character immediately loses all of their wealth and non-magical possessions. The Skull, which is the Jack of Clubs, the character must defeat a powerful undead creature alone. So this is an avatar of death, which appears to fight the character to the death. The Star, which is the Jack of Diamonds, one of the character's ability score increases. The Sun, King of Diamonds, the character gains a beneficial magical item. Talons, which is the Ace of Clubs, each magic item the character owns or possesses disappears permanently. The Throne, which is the King of Hearts, the character becomes more charismatic and gains a small castle. So this is where Matthew Colville's Strongholds and Followers book will come in great handy. The Vizia, the Ace of Diamonds, the character gains an answer to solve any single problem or answer fully any question upon request, which is pretty powerful. The Void, or the King of Clubs, this card sends a character's soul to some other desolate location, leaving his body in a catatonic state, requiring the adventuring party to find a way to rescue the soul. This is one of the more problematic cards. It still used the standard playing cards from a standard playing card deck as the basis for the deck, so it was easy to grab a deck of cards at home. Now in 5th edition, the deck of many things is pretty close to its earlier form with a couple of small detail additions. It states that usually the deck, not the deck, but so the law is that there is more than one still completely, there's more than one deck of many things. They're circulating around the multiverse, so this is still completely accurate canonical knowledge. So they're found in a box or a pouch typically. This deck creates a number of cards, contains a number of cards made of ivory or vellum, so not parchment anymore. So it's either ivory or vellum, and usually the ivory cards will have a glamour on them if you so wish. That's something I would certainly include because it adds that whole element of the deck being unnaturally desirable, being captivating, very much like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings. So the person will stand there and look at this deck and just marvel at its beauty. Most, 75% of these decks have only 13 cards, but the rest have 22, and the 22 card decks are always more powerful. The rules for drawing the cards are exactly the same. However, 5th edition neglects to convey the fairly important information about the deck vanishing after the 1 to 4 cards are drawn. So if you don't know about that and don't know the fact that you can pass on the cards the deck to others who can carry on drawing cards. And this would be very rare knowledge. So if a character does this in the game without extensive research or some way of finding out that this is actually possible, then you would have to call metagaming on the part of that player. So the characters would not know that this is a fact that you can do. The caster level for creating these artifacts is 20th level, so certainly a very, very complicated and powerful series of creation rituals that would either be the province of a supreme act of magical artifice by some legendary wizard or basically a god. The artifact itself is famous and fascinating in of itself, but this is a small, significant amount of lore about the origins and the control of these decks. There's a whole lot of storytelling potential beyond just what they can do, and beyond the small amount of information that we have that these things are created by gods of luck, or perhaps the province of beings of ultimate neutrality. What role they play in the universe, what motivations these gods of luck have for seeding these things all over the place, who is looking out for them, who's looking after them, who is distributing them, who knows of how these things operate, and who becomes a master of the deck of many things. That is really the meat and bones of the storytelling element of the deck of many things, beyond which, of course, is the tremendous effects that these artifacts can have to alter the reality and change the entire course of your game, which is why many DMs justifiably fear the effect that these decks have in their game. But of course, never forget that you're the Dungeon Master and you're in charge of the reality. So, these things can disappear or appear as you see fit. The artifact itself is pretty cool. It's really great to have a deck of cards. I highly recommend people using the Taroka deck for more than its original intention, its purpose. It's a fantastic new addition to the accessories that you can add to your game. Really, I keep it quite close by to my dice because I find it just as useful in the game to have these cards which can inspire you with the imagery on them. It's very similar to a tarot deck, and you can use them as in place of a proxy, the proxy cards, the playing cards, or a tarot deck for creating your own deck of many things, which I've actually written a PDF about that. Just a reminder, if you've not subscribed or have been subscribed for a long time but not watched a video from me in a while, it may help to unsub and subscribe again. Make sure you click the notification bell, and you should see regular uploads from me every week. Those who wish to explore the links in the description text under the video, you will see links to my Patreon, these heroes who support the channel. Anyone who donates at least $1 per month gets access to every one of the scripts that I write for these videos, as well as having special access to me. I will research things for my patrons, answer any questions, and may even make videos on subjects they request from me. I'm highly likely to do this. There is a video only patrons can see, and there will be more of those each month going forward. I'm also very, very grateful for all the support from my patrons. Never forget that, guys. They also have exclusive chat room access on my Discord server, but anyone can join the server. There's a link down below, as well as links to the merchandise for the channel. Oh, and Patron Blades. I highly recommend Patron Blades. I use them myself for a mighty smooth shave. As always, thanks for listening, and I'll be back with more for you very soon. If you enjoyed this sort of video about major artifacts and things from the game, famous legendary magical items, let me know. Click that thumbs up and give me a comments down below on what item you would like me to cover next, or if you'd like another sequel video where I talk about all of the magic item ideas that the people have had in comments on my previous videos on magic items. I really enjoy those. Thanks for listening, everyone. Catch you later.